So we've talked about the mechanics of a portfolio, what it looks like, what to include, how to structure it, and now you may be thinking this is going to take some time to put together, and you're exactly right. It will take some time. But let's put that in perspective for just a minute. You've spent hundreds, probably thousands of hours in school up to this point. Let's say that you're getting a bachelor's degree. You spent 4 years of your life, in fact, in classes, doing homework, taking tests, and now it's time to walk into the job market. If you will simply take another 5 or 10 hours and bottle up that knowledge and package it in a way that transfers to your employer, that expresses something about your value, it will make all the difference. 10 hours is nothing compared to the amount of time you've already put into your education just trying to get to this point. So set aside the time, treat it as a homework problem, treat it as a test or something significant, something important. Set aside the time to do it. It will pay you back immensely for every minute you put into it. Another thing to think about is that you will likely want to tailor that portfolio to the specific employer that you're applying to. Just like your resume is formatted or tailored for a specific employer, you'll also want to do the same thing with your portfolio. Now, I don't do a major makeover on my portfolio when I look at a different employer. Most of what I do is rearranging the projects to put them in an order that I think will be more important for that employer. Once you have your portfolio all written, make sure you export it as a PDF. Nobody wants to get a Word document in their email for a resume or a portfolio. You always want to be sure to send PDFs. One of the main reasons of that is that if you send a Word document, they're going to open it in Word. They may or may not have the same fonts that you do, and so you have no guarantee of what it's going to look like on their screen. But PDFs most often will package the fonts inside of the document, so when they open it on their screen, they'll see the document exactly how you intended them to see it. That's super important when you're trying to transfer important information like your portfolio or resume to an employer. Finally, I always send a portfolio with my resume. If you're allowed to attach a document to in an online system when you're submitting online, or if you're emailing somebody for a job, I always attach a portfolio if it is at all possible. 9 out of 10 times they will click on that extra attachment and take the time to flip through it. In fact, it's a lot more enjoyable for them to flip through your portfolio than to read your resume. That's because pictures are just easier for us to look at. We can get more information out of them, and most likely you're going to have pictures in there that pique their interest. So chances are really good if you send a portfolio with your resume in an email that they will look at it. Now, I always leave them as separate attachments just in case for some reason they're not allowed to look at anything other than a resume. Then at least they have that resume as a separate document. But I always, if I'm allowed, I always send them together so they have the opportunity to look at both. Now, you'll also want to consider printing off your portfolio and making it look really nice. Print it on nice white paper, most likely spiral bind it with maybe a plastic covering on the top. Now, this isn't important obviously when you're first applying for the job because you're most likely just applying electronically. But this is going to be crucial for the interview process. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and we'll talk about why you want to take your portfolio with you into the interview. Now, you may be thinking, well, this is going to cost me a little bit of money, and you're right. It might cost you 20 bucks. You want to print in color, so they have color images to look at. You're going to want to spiral bound it with a nice plastic covering on the outside. And yeah, it'll probably cost you about $20 per portfolio. But if you think that this portfolio can make the difference between you getting this job and not, and most likely that job is going to be somewhere on the order of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 per year, this is a very small price to pay to ensure that you have a leg up over all the competition.